Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Thursday, June 11th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith will be here in a moment, and it is Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final with Vegas and Carolina as the scene shifts back to Raleigh, North Kakalaki. Series tied 2-2 in what has been an epic, tremendous Stanley Cup Final. Every game has been a phenomenal hockey game. You've had comebacks, you've had blown leads, you've had this series having each game tied at some point during the third period. Of all four games of the series to this point, I mean, you really couldn't ask for a much better Stanley Cup Final than we have seen so far, and we're excited about Game 5 tonight, and a very important Game 5 because one of these teams will be one win away from hoisting the Stanley Cup above their heads with a victory here tonight in Game 5. It's also a big game because as much fun as we have with our Ice Guys live betcasts, our betcast season comes to an end tonight. Tonight's the final live betcast of our season. We will not be having any for Game 6 or Game 7. Game 6, it's a weekend. You know, people are doing things on the weekends at this time of year. Game 7, if it goes that far, every year I've gotten together with a very similar group of close friends whenever a Stanley Cup Final has gone to a Game 7. So I wouldn't be around to do a betcast in Game 7 if it gets that far. So this is it. This is the last betcast of the season tonight. For Game 5 between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Carolina Hurricanes, this is a Patreon exclusive live betcast. It only makes sense to make the final betcast of the season available to our Patreon members who have been tremendous supporters of the show with your $10 a month membership to the Patreon page, and of course all the bonus content you get, not just the exclusive live betcasts that are Patreon only, but also the goalie charts, the totals charts that we post throughout the season, Players Suite interview series episodes, and we've got more on the way in the summer during the off season with the Players Suite series. And of course, we've also got the daily betting card. You know, NHL Stanley Cup Final days, we'll have the NHL card, and of course, now moving forward, non-Stanley Cup Final days and throughout the off-season, we will have plays posted in all other sports for our Patreon members that remain members of the Patreon page through the off-season in the summer months. CFL, MLB, boxing, UFC, World Cup soccer, which obviously starts today. We'll include all of that. Addison's Formula One, which he's been nice enough to contribute on the Patreon page. So, like I said, lots still going on throughout the summer months as far as Patreon content. If you decide to keep the Patreon membership going when the NHL hits the offseason, plus our free agency recap show in July will be Patreon exclusive as well, and only available to Patreon members when we do that annual show right after free agency. So again tonight, last betcast of the Ice Guys betcast season, right here tonight, Game 5, Vegas, Carolina, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time will be the start. Make sure you join us. Become a Patreon member if you aren't already to join us for this final betcast of the season. $10 per month at patreon.com/iceguys. We'll recap Game 4. Alex will be here in a minute. Great game again. Outstanding game. Carolina with the start you were hoping for from them after the crushing loss. It could have been a crushing loss in Game 3, you know, when they ended up obviously coming back from 4-0 down, tying the game, only to see the game-winning Shea Theodore goal get ricochet in off the skate of Brandon Bussey. It was a horseshit way to lose a great hockey game, and it did not crush the spirit of Carolina. They came out flying. They got on the board quickly with the early 2 goals. They did get caught, obviously, on a great stretch pass from Shea Theodore to Mark Stone to get Vegas back within 1 in the first period, 2-1. Jordan Staal, who has been unbelievable in these playoffs, he has become Wayne Gretzky before our eyes here in this series for the Carolina Hurricanes. The captain has certainly been outstanding. He gets the 2-goal lead back, 3-1 late in the first. But Vegas doesn't go away. Vegas ends up tying it, 2 goals in the second period. They end up tying the game at 3. And then it looks like maybe Carolina's wobbling and up against the ropes and about to get pushed over the cliff, because the thought was, if they lose this game and go down 3-1, they're in big trouble. But what a third period response it was by the Hurricanes after the Carlson and Howden goals, and Brett Howden just keeps on scoring. What a freaking ridiculous playoffs Brett Howden continues to have for the Golden Knights. But what a response by Carolina. The door was open for Carolina with the 4-3 goal by just an egregious turnover by Vegas, and Jarvis almost buried it off the turnover. It was an incredible stop by Carter Hart, but the Vegas defensive coverage in the defensive zone was scrambling, and it led to eventually the puck coming back in front of the net. The coverage in the blue paint, which John Tortorella spoke about in the postgame, was not good enough, not adequate enough. And Jordan Staal falling down, backhands it past Carter Hart for the go-ahead and eventual game-winning goal, 4-3 in the third period. And then, of course, Nikolai Ehlers with a little cue shot into the empty net to put it away, 5-3. Brandon Bussey, his first ever Stanley Cup playoff start, Stanley Cup final start. He gets the victory. He was very, very good. I don't want to say he was great. He only faced 21 shots, but he did have to make some big saves when Carolina was protecting that third period lead. And, at the end of the day, I think Rod Brind'Amour made the right decision. Now, apparently, Freddie Anderson, when Rod Brind'Amour made that decision to start Bussey, we thought, well, maybe he was injured and feeling the, some post-concussion symptoms of the collision with Barbashev, when Barbashev collided into the side of his head, which took away a goal, by the way, for Vegas in Game 3. But apparently it was not an injury designation for Frederik Andersen. It was just a healthy scratch situation. We'll get into where his status is tonight. I'd be stunned at this point if it's anyone other than Brandon Bussey starting this Game 5 here tonight for Carolina. But like I said, I think that when you look at the decision, it was just, I think, and he said it in the postgame, they spoke to the goalie coach. The goalie coach said, Freddie and him talked, and it was time for Freddie to have a rest. It might have been just as simple as that. So some exhaustion, some fatigue setting in. Remember, there's a guy that's now well into his 30s, played a lot of hockey, including this season, and you wonder if he needed, just a time to decompress a little bit. From all indications, and we'll get to it when we preview Game 5 in just a minute, it looks like he would be available if needed. But at this point, I would be surprised, like I said, if Rod Brind'Amour deviates from anything other than Brandon Bussey being in net here tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 5. But what a game. I mean, I can't say enough about Jordan Staal. What's amazing is we still have not really seen Aho and Svechnikov, and in particular Aho. I mean, Aho is going to have to send a Christmas card to all his teammates if they win the Stanley Cup, because his impact on this Stanley Cup run for the Carolina Hurricanes is about as minimal as it gets for a player of his stature. It's been the other guys that have been carrying the weight. It's been Stankoven. It's been Hall. It's been Blake. It's been the captain in this series, Jordan Staal. It's been Gostisbehere, who's been good offensively from the blue line. Jacob Slavin. It's been the goaltenders. It's been a lot of different. There's about 7, 8, 10, maybe you could say, Carolina Hurricanes you could think of that have been a bigger impact into their success in these playoffs than Sebastian Aho. And that's what's impressive about Carolina. They're 2 wins away from the Stanley Cup, and it hasn't been a flying playoffs by any stretch of the imagination for Sebastian Aho. But it just speaks to how many other Carolina Hurricanes players have certainly stepped up for them throughout the course of this playoff run. All right, let's get into Game 5. Here we go. It is Vegas, Carolina, as we go back to the Lenovo Center in Raleigh for this matchup tonight in Game 5. Series tied 2-2. We have Carolina minus 155 home favorites, and look at the adjustment in the total. Finally a 6, with all 4 games having flown over the total. We finally see a pretty much a strong adjustment across the board to 6. There are a couple books that have 6.5 shaded to the under, and there are a couple of books that still have 5.5, although heavily juiced to the over. But the consensus number here with the total in this game, it looks like it's pretty much 6 across the board here going into Game 5. You look at this series so far through 4 games. Vegas, you look at the way they have been playing on the road throughout the last couple of rounds, really going back to the Anaheim series and actually going back to, I would say, Game 4 of the Utah series. We have certainly seen some of the best hockey for Vegas during this Cup run come on the road. I'm just counting it up. Their road record has been pretty darn impressive when you look at it. 5 at 6. I'm counting up 7-1. I'm looking at 7-2 on the road for this Golden Knights team in their last 9 road games. So they have been a very good road team. You look at Game 1 and 2 on the road in this series. They won Game 1. In Game 2, they had the 2-0 lead. Carolina responded in the third period, tied it, took the lead. Stone ties it in overtime. Hurdle takes a penalty in overtime, and Seth Jarvis wins the game for Carolina in overtime of Game 2. So they're that close to winning another road game. So even the one loss, one of the 2 losses that the Vegas Golden Knights have had on the road in their last 9 road games, and that was a game they had a 2-0 lead, let it slip away, ended up losing 3-2 in overtime. They've just been such a good road team. We've not seen momentum carry from one game to the next at all in this series. That's why we've seen a back-and-forth zigzag theory series. And the zigzag theory works to a T when 2 teams are as tight and evenly matched and competitive as these 2 teams are. There's very little separating Vegas and Carolina right now. That's why we're where we're at right now, 2-2 series. What's astonishing, too, in this series is I meant to bring this up in the recap. The disparity in these 2 teams from the second period to the third period is astonishing. Vegas has outscored Carolina 9-1 in the second period in this series. It's a 9-1 plus 8 goal margin for Vegas in the second period in this series. But in the third period, it's a 10-3 lead for Carolina. They have outscored Vegas by 7 in the third period. And keep in mind, the third period all season long, including early in the playoffs, was Vegas's best period all season. And Carolina has turned that on its ear. They're outscoring Vegas by 7 in the third period in this series in all 4 games combined. 10-3 Hurricanes in the third period. So just before I get into full game bets, if you want to ride the wave that is this strong period-to-period dichotomy we're seeing, if you want to get in on a Vegas to win the second period or second period money line or a Carolina to win the third period, money line type of bet, based on the way this series has played out, it's not the worst idea in the world. That is for damn sure with what we have seen. No question. But I think when you look at this particular matchup here with the Golden Knights and Hurricanes tonight, this has been a tight series. It's been a close series. It's been a series where the team that lost the previous game has been able to bounce back, play better, and win the next time out. And in a series that's been this close, razor-thin margins is what we're talking about. We're really going to be excited to lay minus 155 with Carolina. Not me. I'm on the Vegas Golden Knights tonight, plus 135. I expect a response from them. They've been great on the road, 7-2 in their last 9 road playoff games. And the only road loss in this series was a game they were up 2-0. If they finish the job and have a better third period, they win that game too, as well. This Vegas team. So I think that it's their turn to respond. Carolina was great in Game 4, kind of a backs against the wall game for them. Couldn't afford to go down 3-1. Second game, too, we assume it's going to be a second game now in a row starting for Brandon Bussi. And now a little bit more intel, right, for the Vegas Golden Knights when it comes to facing him. Now the Vegas goalie coach goes to work, right? This is where he works overtime between Game 4 and Game 5. He says, okay, we saw Bussi now for a full game. Let's see where we can exploit him. Let's see where he can figure out where his weaknesses are and try to exploit them and take advantage. So I would expect Vegas to have a little bit more of a blueprint scouting report, if you will, for some success here against Brandon Bussi. And again, I have no qualms at all or issues at all taking a plus 135 price with either team in this series when it's been this close. And home ice really hasn't mattered because Carolina's won a game on the road. Vegas damn near won 2 games on the road to begin this series. So Vegas for me at plus 135. Here's the thing with the total. I mean, it's 4 straight overs. They finally adjusted it, bumped it up to 6 I'm going to wait for a live over 5. It is a bet cast tonight, our final one of the season, Patreon exclusive. I'm going to wait for a live 5.5 to show up. I know we've had a series chock full of early goals, but at the same point in time, I think we can get 5.5. I think we'll have enough dead scoreless action to begin the game that we could get 5.5 live. But I am going to get back to the well again with that SGP. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Give me Vegas plus 2.5, Carolina plus 2.5, and both teams to score 2 goals. Why would I stop betting that at this point? It's 4-0 in the series. So I'm going to take that as well. But the primary bet here, Vegas Golden Knights plus 135 to keep the back and forth nature of this series going. We got Alex B. Smith with us. Alex, game 5. What do you think here, Vegas, Carolina?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I like Vegas in this spot. I think this is, where we've seen Carolina play great hockey. We've seen Vegas play great hockey. But this is a spot where I think the veteran play, being in these positions in previous, series in previous years is going to help out with Vegas. And so, like I said, taking them as a dog price, I like them quite a bit, plus 135. I like the draw even more. Now, yes, I do have 3 games to go to overtime in this series, plus 900 on the line, but I'm going with this individually as well. I see a plus 310 is the best price I'm seeing over at BetMGM. So even though I have the series play for 3 overtime games in the series, I'm going to be adding this as an individual play as well, plus 310. So dog and draw for me, and anything else I'll be adding, like I said, on the betcast tonight, especially as far as totals go. I'm leaning with maybe trying to grab over a half a goal or a big plus price with the over 1.5 in the first period, if we can see that kind of pace and momentum. But like I said, I don't think we're going to see any goals in the first 5 minutes, so I wouldn't be jumping on any gifts or anything like
that. Make sure the mic's unmuted. There we go. Rich with a great point in our chat. Game 3 had a long travel day. Long travel with 1 day off, same as today. Only remember, one day off. That's it. Every game after this will be 2 days in between. And the NBA is the same thing. The NBA is going to 2 days break for every remaining game of their series as well. But yeah, after today, game 6 is going to be Sunday. And we know there will be a game 6. It will be Sunday night. And then, of course, game 7, if necessary, would be Wednesday next week. So there you go. It's 2 days in between for game 6 and game 7 coming up. So, but the previous time we had this 1 day off with travel, it was a scoreless first period and it was sluggish. So, under 1.5 first period, maybe. I mean, I'm scared shitless to ever take that with the way this series has been. It's been one of the highest scoring Stanley Cup finals in recent memory. I think the number is 33, 34 goals I read or saw or heard as far as total goals in the series so far. So like I said, it's just been tons of goals. But I think if it's ever going to slow down, especially early in a game, it's going to be here. And what I would do, Alex, is if this thing starts slow, which it could, long travel. Last time we saw long travel with just 1 day off in between games, it was a scoreless period, and then it exploded after that. Right. That was, game 3, and then all hell broke loose in game 3, and that's when we had 4-0 Vegas, 4-4, 5-4. It ended in overtime. So you absolutely bet live overs, live second period over, both teams to see. I mean, that is something I'm going to be on that big time tonight on the betcast. If we get to a point where we have one of these low and slow, which has been rare, but we did see it in game 3 in this same travel situation. And if we see it again tonight in game 5 in the similar travel situation, Alex, a slow start, either a scoreless first period or 1 goal only, you can bet your ass I'm going to be looking at second period over, both teams to score second period, and probably a live full game over as well at that point. I think that's a good approach.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Like I said, if we see that kind of explosion in that second period, and we'll know, even with a slow first period, you will know, like I said, we've been doing this all year long, where that kind of pace goes, where we can see maybe those changes made between the first intermission.
Yeah, no question. As far as props go, it just seems like game to game now, I'm rhyming off pretty much similar props because they keep on cashing. They keep on coming in. They keep on winning for me. So why would I really upset the apple cart and really deviate? I mean, for Carolina, if you're going to target one line, it's still Stankoven, Hall, and Blake. They've been great. If you're going to bet goal props, assist props, point props, those are the 3 players you want up front for this team. And, of course, the other one being the amazing captain, Jordan Staal. I was stunned. I couldn't believe it this morning when I saw BetMGM still had him out there, and that was the best price I found. BetMGM, Jordan Staal at plus 400 to score a goal tonight. I couldn't believe that. He has scored now in 4 straight games here in this series. He scored in every game here in the Stanley Cup Final. He had 2 goals in Game 4. Scored in every game. You can still get plus 400. And I'm back to the well, too, with his over 1.5 shots on goal. That is now cashed in every game in this series as well. Staal over 1.5 shots, and that's actually cashed in 5 straight games, going back to Game 5 of the Montreal series in the Eastern Conference Final. So that continues to come through as well. Didn't really pay off in the last game. Martinook with Aho and Svechnikov elevated to the top line. He actually didn't go over 1.5 shots, and obviously he didn't score a goal. But I'm going to go back to it here. If he's going to be on the top line again, and it looks like he will, with Aho and Svechnikov, I don't expect Rod Brind'Amour to make major alterations to a winning lineup from Game 4. So Martinook goal, again, has great value tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes, over 1.5 shots on goal as well. I think he had exactly 1 shot on goal. And by the way, these shots on goal props, what you can do, and I sprinkled on an SGP with this the other night. If you don't fully trust some of these players to go over their shot prop, just put them all in a 1 shot on goal parlay, like a William Karlsson should probably be on that for me tonight. Ivan Barbashev, Jordan Staal, Jordan Martinook, probably Seth Jarvis. He's been shooting the puck pretty well here in this series. Put them all in a same game parlay just to get 1 shot on goal. And you should be able to get some kind of plus money on that, like plus 120, plus 130. Won't be a huge price, but you'll certainly be able to get plus money on that for sure. I mentioned William Karlsson. He's gone over 1.5 shots in 4 of the last 5 games. I think he scored obviously multiple goals in this series so far for the Golden Knights as well. Brett Howden, whether it's point, goal, assist, you got to keep betting him. I mean, it's just ridiculous what Brett Howden's doing. Now, finally, we can't use him as bargain bin anymore because this has now been a couple games in a row where Brett Howden's been below that plus 300, but it's still a good enough price to bet it. Holy shit, plus 270 for a guy that's among the leading goal scorers in the Stanley Cup playoffs. How do you not take it with Brett Howden, with what he's been doing here for the Vegas Golden Knights? But yeah, Howden and Staal on 4-game point streaks, Stankoven, Aho on 3-game point streaks, Taylor Hall, Jackson Blake, William Karlsson, Shea Theodore, all on 2-game point streaks as well for the Vegas Golden Knights. Braden McNabb, fishbowl, birdcage, and all. Braden McNabb is on a 2-game point streak, believe it or not, for the Vegas Golden Knights. So it hasn't stopped him from chipping in a little bit at the offensive end of the ice either. So those are definitely a plethora of the player props that I like. I didn't bet Stone last game, and obviously he scored. I think you got to look to Stone tonight. It's especially off a loss. I find off a loss, that guy is just, it's like he will not be denied. Mark Stone, the captain of the Vegas Golden Knights. So don't be surprised if he finds the back of the net. His goal prop is probably worth a look as well. I think it's actually a better price than I expected. I expected his goal prop to be closer to plus 190, plus 200. You can get, it's not bargain bin, but still plus 250 for a guy like Mark Stone. That's still pretty good as far as a goal prop price on the captain of the Vegas Golden Knights. As far as, now here's the thing, I'm staying off the saves props tonight as well, because you'd think Carolina at home, shot volume kings, maybe you look at Carter Hart over saves, but Vegas is the team that, is trying to bounce back off a loss, and usually I like the team off a loss to kind of carry the play more often than the opponents. So it's kind of a conflict that I have there with that. By the way, I mentioned how good Jalen Chatfield over blocked shots has been in this series. He finally stayed under in the last game, but he has still gone over 1.5 shots in 4 of the last 5, 8 of the last 10 games. So if you want to go back to that, I don't mind it. But at the same point in time, it's around minus 160. So the price isn't great. What I would say is maybe put Jalen Chatfield in an SGP and maybe ask for 1 block shot from him as opposed to 2. Something you could consider. All right, great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Yeah, I mean, I wear a lot of similar shirts. I get it. I saw that comment. Joe Rogan only wears 1 fucking shirt all the time on UFC. He's even worse. And he's got a lot more money than me. So there you go. And he only wears the same damn shirt everywhere on a UFC
That's
event.
true.
That black one. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. It's the same one. So there you go. He's even worse with that, not changing up his wardrobe. Mr. Rogan. Speaking of that, UFC on the Sunday, that's going to be a crazy event.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated to see how that whole thing plays out.
Yeah.
I'm sure many people are with that White House event on Sunday. Sunday's going to be a hell of a sports day. Let me line it up for you, everybody. Obviously, the World Cup's ongoing. Actually, it's a good weekend, too, because you're going to have an NBA Finals game on Saturday night. But look at Sunday. There's going to be World Cup games, MLB. You're going to have Game 2 of the AHL Calder Cup Final Sunday afternoon, Chicago-Toronto in Rosemont, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. That's leading into Stanley Cup Final Game 6 on Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Great hockey doubleheader on Sunday. And, of course, we got the UFC thing on Sunday. So it's a heck of a Sunday, heck of a weekend as far as sports is concerned, no question. And it's going to be a heck of a night tonight because it is our final betcast of the season. This is it. It's like that Huey Lewis song. If this is it, please let me know. Stanley Cup Final Game 5, Vegas, Carolina, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Last betcast of the season, Patreon exclusive. So to get in on it, get on the Patreon page, $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys, goalie charts, totals charts, the daily betting card, which will be NHL, and then all sports throughout the summer and the off season as well. If you decide to keep your memberships rolling and active through the off season. So make sure you check it out. Again, your membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Summertime's a great time to grab some t-shirts, some caps. We've got tank tops, we've got hoodies, we've got all kind of wonderful items to check it out right now at the Ice Guys store. That's over at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
And, of course, wizardsportspicks.com too. NHL, NBA, CFL, soccer's on now. YouTube content galore. Check it out, wizardsportspicks.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guy sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
All right, bargain bin special of the night, Game 5, a big one as always. You know, one team is going to be one win away from the Stanley Cup after tonight. Bargain bin special of the night, Alex, we'll start with you. What do you got?
Yeah, let's go with Vegas Golden Knights. We're going to go with Tomas Hertl, anytime goal scorer. You can get him plus 350 over at FanDuel. We've seen him, like I said, he went through that long stretch where he wasn't doing anything and all of a sudden started to heat up again. I think he can get on the board here tonight in the pivotal Game 5 for Vegas. So Tomas Hertl, anytime goal, plus 350 is my bargain bin special.
Good stuff. My bargain bin specials, I'm not overthinking it. I'm not going outside the box here. It's two players I've had bargain bins with already in this series, and I've cashed with both of them already in this series. We're going back to Wild Bill, William Karlsson for the Vegas Golden Knights to find the back of the net tonight at plus 450 at DraftKings, BetMGM. Also has William Karlsson at plus 450. So that is my Vegas bargain bin special of the night. My Carolina bargain bin special of the night, it's got to be the captain, Jordan Staal. It has to be a plus 400 at BetMGM. That simply has to be bargain bin special for me at that price for what he continues to do for this Canes team. 4 straight games with a goal in this series for Jordan Staal. So William Karlsson, Vegas, plus 450. Jordan Staal, Carolina, plus 400 for my bargain bin specials of the night for Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you got for best bet?
Give me one more draw this season. I just need one more, and I need it tonight. Plus 310 at BetMGM, plus 900 to close out the 3 draws within the series. That's what I'm rocking with best bet tonight. Vegas, Carolina to go past regulation.
There we go. We're winding down the season. Not many more opportunities to hit those draws, but I should be hitting the draws more often than I have. And we've seen, obviously, Game 2 overtime, Game 3 overtime, Game 4 almost went to overtime, of course, very narrowly missed. So the draw, plus 310 for Alex with his best bet for Game 5. My best bet, I'm going to the team that lost the previous game. It's been a theme in this series. It's a good price considering how close this series has been. To be able to take plus 135 really with either team in what has been just an airtight, competitive, very close series from start to finish makes sense to me. Vegas Golden Knights plus 135 for my best bet here for Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. A shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. And again, one more time, final betcast. Again, final betcast of the season tonight for Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. Patreon exclusive starting at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So become a Patreon member if you aren't already to be part of the betcast tonight for just $10 per month. Patreon.com/Ice Guys. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live every Stanley Cup Final game day. And if you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Thursday. Enjoy Game 5 and good luck. And Patreon members, we will see you tonight at 8:15 p.m. Eastern for the Stanley Cup Final Game 5 Patreon exclusive live betcast. And we will be back with you for our next live show, daily show, Sunday at noon Eastern, prior to Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. We'll see you then right here on the Ice Guys.